Last year I reviewed the previous box set in this series, Beyond War Games. It came out right after I'd watched the War Games, so it was perfect timing really, and it was pretty good. It introduced the idea of the Second Doctor being whisked away by the Time Lords in the gap between the War Games and Spearhead from Space, and being forced to work all sorts of dirty Black Ops missions for them. And now they've released a second instalment in the series, and it's just as good, if not better. As the title of the box set suggests, this features the return of Frazer Hines as Jamie. He's already appeared in numerous Big Finish audios, both as Jamie and the Doctor, so he obviously knows what he's doing with the character, and he fits right in. It does help that he's playing an older version of Jamie now. Frazer Hines is 78 years old, and it might be a bit of a stretch for him to pretend to be in his 20s. He starts the story imprisoned in Edinburgh Castle, and the Doctor arrived in the same time and place to solve some particularly gruesome murders. Obviously, you know the two plot threads will come together eventually, but the story takes its time getting there, and it allows listeners to try and figure out what's really going on. For most of the story, the Doctor and Jamie are separated, and the role of the Doctor's companion is taken by Raven, the mysterious Time Lady who sends him on his assignments. It's interesting to hear her interact with ordinary human beings for once, and it certainly adds another layer to her character. As in the previous box set, Emma Noakes plays the part with a wonderfully silky smooth voice, and the character only gets more intriguing this time round. I suppose you could say she's a cross between Romana and the Rani, but she definitely puts her own spin on it, and I will definitely be following her career with great interest, as Senator Palpatine once said. The reunion of the Doctor and Jamie takes most of the story to accomplish, and it feels appropriate that Jamie has to break through the Time Lord's memory blocks in order to vanquish the enemy. It feels a bit like Vincent and the Doctor, in that the monster is kind of being used as a metaphor for mental illness. I'm not entirely sure it works as a metaphor for dementia, but the final reunion scene between Jamie and the Doctor is certainly worth the wait. The second story picks up sometime later after Jamie and the Doctor have already been on many missions together. It's an interesting choice, as it does kind of skip over the Doctor and Jamie getting to know each other and any conversations about what Jamie's actual life has been like the past decades. The Green Man of the title turns out to be a crinoid from The Seeds of Doom. Unfortunately, I haven't quite got to that story in my current watch through. The DVD still got the plastic on, see, so I couldn't say how accurate the use of crinoids is compared to how they were on screen. But they don't say much, so I'm guessing it's not essential. The guest star of this story is Nigel Havers. He normally plays charming posh blokes, but in this instance he's a mad scientist. And it's fun to see him chew the scenery as he spews out his evil plans. You can tell he enjoyed playing a different sort of character, even if he didn't stick around to be interviewed for the behind-the-scenes extras. The writer is Paul Verhoeven, presumably not the same guy who directed Showgirls, but it is quite cleverly written, with a neat twist that leaves you reassessing everything you've heard before. So hopefully he'll come back and do more. The final story of the box set is The Shroud by Bob Ayres. This feels kind of like the movie Pitch Black, in that you've got an alien planet with a bunch of humans and a bunch of aliens, and there's kind of a war going on and a plague of darkness. In fact, most of the story takes place in pitch darkness, which is kind of perfect for audio as there's no real visuals to describe. And there's plenty of plot twists along the way to keep you guessing. Towards the end, I was thinking that it was a bit of a shame that the overall storyline of the Doctor trying to escape the control of the Time Lords it's been largely kept in the background in this box set. But the ending of this third story does unexpectedly come back to the big story arc, and it all ends on a big cliffhanger. Nicholas Briggs promises further sets will follow, so it'll be interesting to look out for those. Overall, it's a fine collection of stories. Michael Troughton does a good job following in his father's footsteps as the Second Doctor. The voice is maybe not 100% accurate, but it's close enough that your mind kind of fills in the blanks. And Frazer Hines manages to recreate much the same kind of rapport that he had with his father. They make a good team. I don't know if there's any plans on bringing back Zoe or Victoria for future box sets. Victoria at least would have to be recast, or maybe they'll introduce another female companion. Personally, I'd be quite happy to hear more from Emma Noakes as Raven, as it feels they've only just scratched the surface of her character. Next week I should finally get around to reviewing The Brain of Morbius, and at some point I'd like to give my thoughts on Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2. See you next time.